Welcome to firstoffthebike.com on tour, presented by Toyota. Well, here we are. This is the best 200 metres of sport in the country. The finish line just behind me. Age group is coming through this way. And we've had a heck of a day out here at the Asia Pacific Championships at Ironman Melbourne. It was a big race. Started off with the men this morning. They took off at 7:20, and Niels Fromhold, Luke Bell did a fantastic job of getting themselves out in front and getting away from everybody else. They built the lead as the day unfolded, and what they ended up with was a 10-minute gap coming out of T2. The chasers included Brad Carterfelt, we had Peter Robinson in there as well, and we had the man we call the Bulldog, Jeff Simons, who was a little-known Canadian who's been out here training in Victoria and just getting used to the conditions. Onto the run, it was quickly established that Niels Fromhold was the man to beat. He blasted out of T2 with a minute-and-a-half lead. Luke Bell, who was chasing him, started to falter, and then the big push. Peter Robinson pulled out. We had Brad Carterfelt running well. We had Jeff Simons running well. And, of course, Tim Burkle made a huge, big lunge for the victory. Then, after Niels Fromhold got to 23 kilometres, it was all over. He blew to pieces, and following him was Jeff Simons and Tim Burkle. They ran past him, they duked it out for a little while, and then it was Jeff Simons who made the race his own. We call him the Bulldog. He runs like he's trying to chew a wasp. It's a horrible style, but it's very effective. 2:44 marathon got him home for the win and the Asia Pacific title, just ahead of Tim Burkle, and a fast-finishing Brad Carterfelt with a 2:49 marathon to finish out his day. A fantastic day of racing. Niels Fromhold got himself home. And we also saw a couple of big names like Brad Carterfelt doing a great job getting themselves into the Ironman mix after a lot of 70.3 racing. Fantastic day. In the women's event, it was the Iron rookie, Annabelle Luxford, who took the early lead. She swam beautifully. She had Laura Bennett only a minute back. Laura ended up pulling out with a hurt foot. But then it was Caroline Steffen who motored her way up to Annabelle Luxford, and the two of them had a two-up time trial. Behind our two leaders, it was Yvonne van Vlerken, who was chasing hard, and also Mal Halschild, who was flying solo. Those two women only had themselves for company, and they flew around the course in pursuit of our two leaders. Into T2, it was all Caroline Steffen who motored her way through and had the fastest bike split of the day. She then got off and ran very, very hard for around about 25 kilometres before she was finally picked up, and it was Mal Halschild who did the damage in a wonderful marathon. 3:06 wasn't the fastest one you'll see, but in the conditions that were very warm today and the fact that she was running on knives, as she told us after the race, because she had blisters all over her feet, it was a very gutsy effort. At one point, Mal Halschild even sat down, took her shoes and socks off, and tried to put some Vaseline on her feet. She told us it did nothing, but she had a crack anyway, and in the end, the finish line, it was all hers as she made this race her own, the first Australian woman to win an Asia Pacific title here in Melbourne. Another great race here at Ironman Melbourne, another Asia Pacific title down. We saw a couple of new winners, which was fantastic, and the race too brought on some wonderful scenes with our age groupers getting it done. All around this course, it was a hot day, it was a tough day, and once again, Melbourne delivered a very, very sharp event. Thanks to Cam there on the camera, and also to Crowie for all his work on First Off the Bike on Tour, presented by our good mates at Toyota.